Whew.
Yeah.
I really wanted to have a nice little Wednesday today. I did. I woke up. We had such a fun show yesterday.
That was a fun show.
And anytime we have a show Kenny called in at 6:30. We had a great hit from Albert, and Fanta was on fire, and we got to rage about the Wyatt Teller situation a bit. We had some good Shedeur discussions, and I was like, Wednesday's going to be. It's just going to be that next step. And then I'm sitting there. Trying to get the script from the doctor today, and I see it. The Browns have opened the 21-day window for Deshaun Watson, meaning that in the next 21 days, they either have to activate Deshaun Watson from the PUP or they shut him down in its entirety. And it was just like, you can't help yourself. Can you, Browns? You can't. You already dogged our boy Wyatt Teller, and everybody knows you did. We got Mama Teller out here having to tweet about your wicked ways to the Cleveland Browns. Mm-hmm. We already have the Shedeur argument on the daily, right? You've given us enough fodder, right? Oh, anytime you or I go on another station, oh, you're so lucky to have all these talking points. Yeah, I'd just rather a winning football team, but I digress. The point is, we didn't need to do the Deshaun Watson thing today. And I'll be honest with you, I wonder if the Browns opened this 21-day window today out of sheer spite.
So it just kind of feels like they get to a spot where it's like, oh, all the conversation seems like it's simmered down a little bit. This is the Jerry Jones-ification of what the Haslams and the Browns seem like they do. It's like just a moment where you think like, all right, the waters are calmed down. They do something to go ahead and disrupt everything. And it's almost like the timing of this feels as if they're like in an early anticipation of what would just get the most people talking about the Browns at any given point. And then there we are.
I don't think it is okay, I'm not trying to go full conspiracy theory tinfoil hat here.
You let us down that road.
I think this Wyatt Teller thing has a chance to be a real thorn in their side because it paints a real bit of dysfunction. And for all the things we've seen in Berea and all the things we've speculated, we've not seen like Hugh Jackson level dysfunction on open display unless it was like Miles throwing a temper tantrum. And that feels more about Miles than it does simply about the Browns. I can't help. It's tough for me to think it's a coincidence that they just magically decided to do this, something that would take all the headlines, all the noise, all the what have you, when there's a very real conversation about how they've treated one of their absolute favorite sons, one of the favorite sons of Cleveland Browns fans, and when Wyatt Teller's family's tweeting about what.
Do you think Deshaun has just used his misdirection, and this is what you're saying?
I don't know that's the only reason, but it does feel a little coincidental that as this thing, because again, Monday it was a bit of a story, yesterday it was a huge story, and then today it continued to be a big story. Would I put it past them to do something like this? Again, I'm not saying they didn't intend to open up the 21-day window, but do I think they understood that when you did it, you would offset whatever headlines there were that day? Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I look at it more like I think they genuinely want to see what they not only have with Deshaun at this point, but I think this is almost kind of like a poking and a prodding to Shedeur to be like, Shedeur, here's your chance. If you look good, this man doesn't have to play. And if you don't look good, well, we got 3 weeks to go ahead and make that decision, and this will be the guy that replaces you because it's not Dylan Gabriel is not the threat that he once was. Bailey Zappi makes no sense, and no one can justify that. But they can go to Deshaun if they want to, and they would go to Deshaun. And so, like for me, this is about them basically keeping Shedeur on his toes once again.
So I think in this case, this might be one of the few things they're doing that has nothing to do with Shedeur, because I actually think it just has something to do with that same old that itch you have to scratch of, well, it's the worst trade in NFL history. We got to find a way to make it good. Hey, is he ready to play? And if he's going to be here next year, if he's ready to play, let's put him out there and let's just see if.
Well, think about it. Last year, they were caught with their pants down when it came to the quarterback room. In many ways, they looked around. They tried to get Kirk Cousins is in town. Is he not in town? They couldn't make a trade for it. They left the quarterback situation when they realized that they weren't going to draft a quarterback in the first round, and they left it with basically nothing. They were holding no cards. And so I almost wonder if you play Deshaun for the final 1 or 2 games, if Shedeur starts to stumble here, and then they're setting themselves up for if they don't have an offseason where an obvious quarterback move can be made, like what happened this last year, It wouldn't surprise me if they threw Deshaun out there to start the season.
Can you imagine a Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel
that would be the quarterback conversation. Yes, that's what it would be. I could totally see that happening if they do end up in a spot where they don't draft one of these quarterbacks, because let's say Dante Moore stays at Oregon and Mendoza goes number 1 overall to a team that isn't the Browns, and you just have to eat that. And then in the open market, it's like, oh, it's Mac Jones for a price we don't want to pay, and basically nothing else. Nothing materializes. And if they're looking at it instead of this 2-year, we're going to suck window extended to 3 years, I know there's a lot of ifs here, but it's on the table with them.
If you bring back Kevin Stefanski and these three quarterbacks being Shedeur, Deshaun, and Dylan Gabriel, and nothing else, and you expect something to change, I don't know you deserve to run a franchise. Like, at some point, there's got to be, and by the way, I'm of somebody who thinks, man, if Shedeur keeps showing that incremental improvement this year, I think the real jump for Shedeur comes between the end of this season and the beginning of next season, because he'll have a full off season in the NFL. And I think he'll have a renewed understanding of the kind of work that it takes. I think every rookie quarterback has this, by the way. It's not like Shedeur has it, but that every rookie quarterback has to learn just what a grind and how much work it takes in the NFL. But that's your hope. It's not going to be Deshaun. It's not going to be Dylan Gabriel. It's going to be, hey, and oh, by the way, if Deshaun were to beat out Shedeur week 1, the one guy who I think there will be some hope for, I don't know how you do it if you're the Browns.
But I also would have said I don't know how you enter this season with their 4 quarterback competition thing that they had set up with Flacco and Pickett, and then drafting a quarterback in the 3rd and then the 5th round. Like, they've shown us just this last year, they're really not good at putting together quarterback plans, and they will just let and see as the quarterback market doesn't materialize and shape the way that they want it to, and then you end up in that situation. Am I saying this is the most likelihood of answers for the Browns or something that I could see happening? No, that's not what I'm saying, but I am saying it's on the board.
I'd just like to remind the Browns, because I checked around about this, and I asked like 3 different people, right, from different spots here, just to confirm. The Browns don't have to open up Deshaun Watson's 21-day window, right? They don't have to. Meaning there's nothing in the CBA that says he's on the PUP. At some point, you have to open that 21-day window. It is a decision that you make to do so.
Yeah.
And every single person said, yes, it is a decision that they make. It doesn't mean that they have to do it. So the Browns are actively deciding whether they want to see Deshaun Watson this year. So we already start with, you didn't have to open up the 21-day window. So you didn't have to do that, but you did. All right? You don't have to activate Deshaun Watson in the midst of a lost season where fans are already upset enough. You don't have to, but you're thinking about it. So allow me to answer, I would say pretty unilaterally, really just across the board, nobody wants to see this.
Nick, they don't think about Deshaun the way you think about Deshaun. They don't think about Deshaun the way that 99% of the fan base thinks about Deshaun.
But they have to. They have to understand.
They're showing you they don't.
And I'm telling them now, with full impunity, without any doubt in my mind, you don't have to do this. You can be smarter than this. You can, for once in your godforsaken life, you can read the room. This is not rocket science. You got a full team of PR guys there probably saying, hey, this seems dumb. And they're right. You do not have to do this. I beg of you, read the room. If we got to use Hooked on Phonics, we'll use Hooked on Phonics. You don't have to do this. You didn't have to so you didn't have to open up his 21-day window, then you sure as hell don't have to activate
but Nick, the flaw that they have that they don't see that we've all seen is that Deshaun Watson can't play good football anymore. They haven't accepted that fact. For me, he's too injured of a player to ever put him out there in any sort of serious nature, but they don't see it. They've not yet given up on this, and I don't know why they haven't either. None of us can make sense of why they haven't either, but they clearly haven't, and there is a part of me that could see a scenario where Shedeur, if he stumbles, I think he's going to have the job the rest of the way. We won't have to worry about this. That's why everyone should be Shedeur fans moving forward. But if he stumbles, I could see them saying at the end of the season, all right, Deshaun, you got 2 games. Let's see exactly where you stand. And then let's take that into the offseason, and then we'll refigure everything out. And if you look good, who knows what's on the docket for 2026 as we need a quarterback.
216-474-0092. And Nick Wilson says, at Jay Peterlin on social media.
There's a real part to it.
I'm smirking because I am trying to keep it together. We're going to have a good Wednesday here. I'm not going to let this upset
your
me.
Wednesday's shot, okay?
No.
It's shot.
No.
You're not getting it back.
It's
done.
Gimp.
As far as you know,
today, I got one damn good leg.
December 3rd, 2025 in your life it's done, okay?
No.
It's done.
Right.
I
got plenty of life left. Thank you very much.
No, you got tomorrow.
Solid 3 or 4 years.
You got December 4th of 2025 maybe, but your December 3rd is shot. It's over. It's done.